Alrighty guys, we're back for Wicked Mill, and this is an Outlaws of Thunder Junction standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, this was a suggestion over in the Discord, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. It was essentially to try to pull off that -7 ability on Ashiok for the mill. So this is a 5 mana, 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker. If you would pay life while your library has at least that many cards in it, exile that many cards from the top of your library instead. So that's very interesting. The -7 on here is target player exiles the top X cards of their library, where X is the total mana value of cards you own in exile. Awesome. So we got a lot of expensive things in here, like all 4 Virtue of Persistence, of course, that adventure side acting as removal. We have all 4 Phyrexian Fleshgorgers with the prototype for only 3. We also have a top end with Vraska, because I think that 0 and Proliferate is going to come in handy when proliferating extra counters onto the Ashiok to actually get that up to the -7. In the meantime, with Ashiok, we have that +1, where you look at the top 2 cards of your library, exile one of them, and then you put the other one into your hand. And then it has that -2 as well, where you create 2 1/1 black nightmare creature tokens with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, if a card was put into exile this turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So we'll see if those little nightmares will do a thing as well. The rest of the build is just hopefully helping us survive, especially when we're going to be having cards in here that actually have us pay life before we get the Ashiok down. So first of all, I guess we'll go over the cards that have us pay life. There's this new one, Treasure Dredger. 2 mana, 2/2 for 1. You can tap this, pay 1 life, create a treasure token. It is a shame that it does cost the 1 mana to do this, but I am interested to see how much this is actually going to do in here. Tenacious Underdog, of course, the Blitz cost has us pay a couple life. The Gix has that ability where whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may pay 1 life. If they do, they draw a card. We've been seeing a lot more Gix recently, and I'm pretty sure that's because of Deep Cavern Bat. It's just like turn 2 Deep Cavern Bat and then turn 3 Gix is just a really good line of play, isn't it? We also have Staff of Completion in here. 3 mana artifact. You can tap it, pay 1 life, destroy target permanent you own. You could tap it, pay 2 life, add 1 mana of any color. You can tap it, pay 3 life to proliferate. That's going to be good. You can tap it, pay 4 life to draw a card, and then you can pay 5 mana to untap Staff of Completion. Very interesting card, especially when paired with that Ashiok. So as far as the life gain goes, so like I said, we're not always going to have Ashiok on the board, so all that paying of life is going to really take its toll. We do have Gumdrop Poisoner with its lifelink, and then also kind of sort of acting as part of the removal of the list, but not entirely. Of course, the adventure side creates a food token, and that food token does come in handy. Speaking of the removal real quick, guys, the rest of the removal is just 4 Bitter Triumphs, as well as a couple cutdowns and a March of the Wretched Sorrow, too. For the Bitter Triumph's sake, you know, it says pay 3 life, so when the Ashiok is on the board, that's really going to come in handy. Okay, now the rest of the life gain, we do have a couple of Sheoldred packed in as well, and don't forget the life gain on that March of the Wretched Sorrow. Some other interesting cards packed in, like Pitiless Carnage has a plot for 3, and it's a 4 mana card, and when you plot it, of course, you exile it. That could be an interesting way to get an extra 4 mana value into exile for the Ashiok. Outside of that, the card reads, sacrifice any number of permanents you control, then draw that many cards. You know what I want to see? I want to see us flood out a little bit and then complain about it, but then we see Pitiless Carnage, and we sacrifice like 5 lands or something ridiculous and just like completely restock our hand. I think that would be really interesting. Yeah, because it doesn't say non-land permanents. It just says permanents. Yeah, okay. Is that everything already, guys? We have a little bit of ramp here with the Irencrag as well. I wanted some kind of like early ramp that was also a permanent as well that we could potentially sacrifice to that Pitiless Carnage. Over in the mana base, we do have a Demolition Field as well as a Blast Zone, Abandoned Mire, 22 Swamps for a grand total of 25 land. Some honorable mentions. Mire Convert almost made the cut. Unscrupulous Contractor is another plot card that could be interesting to try to pair with that Ashiok. I just don't think there's enough to sacrifice in here. I think more often than not, you just end up sacrificing the Contractor to itself, similar to that zombie that we just recently played with that I don't remember the name of right now. And Celestis almost made the cut over the Irencrag, but I wanted the Irencrag just for something a little earlier than the Celestis. But you know, honorable mentions for a reason. Okay, guys, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked and see how we do. Okay, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? Well, it's mono black, and it has a lot of really good mono black cards. I think it'll be fine. Fine enough. Will we get the mill today? I mean, that's the plan. I hope so. Okay, cut down Bitter Triumph and Gix. I feel like if we mulligan this, it's going to get worse. I'm going to keep this. This is one of those hands. I don't really like it, but I don't think it warrants a mulligan. Okay, Gumdrop Poisoner was a pretty good draw at least, because now we actually have something to do on turn 1 if we don't have the cut down. Okay, Golgari colors so far from the opponent. Mosswood Dread Knight. Is that worthwhile for the cut down? Probably not. Not yet. Maybe? Okay, I'm gonna skip it and just go for the Tempt with Treats. Another swamp. Keep our removal open as well as our food. Although I really doubt we're gonna activate the food. Something I forgot to mention when going over the list, of course, all these adventures go into exile as well. Really works well with that Ashiok, of course. Take the 3, wait for removal on a 3-drop. Sure, I'll take the 3 for now. We'll save these for something better. It's going to be a Punisher. Okay. I'll take that out with the Bitter Triumph, I suppose, right? Yeah. Do we discard? Discard a swamp? Or pay 3? I'll discard a swamp. That's probably not too bad, right? Ooh, Fleshgorger's pretty good. Like that. A lot of 3-drops right now, though. Yeah, we'll save the Poisoner. Fleshgorger's probably the play over the Gix. Because then we can try to start getting that Menace lifelink through, and then play Poisoner main phase 2. And try to clean up some creatures. The Dread Knight's always a tough one to try to clean up, because of course they have that adventure side then. But that also depends on how much mana they end up playing too. Ton of Bones joins up. What do you guys think? The cut down or the mana? Probably the mana? Okay. Abandoned Mire. Hopefully we'll be fine. I mean, there's 25 land total. It's much more likely to see more mana off the top than more removal. We just don't know how much the cut down is going to be doing right now. Oh, they do find removal for the Fleshgorger, unfortunately, and they have a swing with the Dread Knight. It's going to be Treasure Dredger. Okay, how do we want to do this? We could keep the cut down again, try to hit the Dread Knight before they get another swing and play the Dredger. Or we could just set up with Gix too. Maybe it is the Dredger for the turn and then stop being greedy with this cut down and finally hit the Dread Knight. Just, it really depends, man, because, yeah, if they play their 4th, then hitting the Dread Knight with the cut down, it's just never a good target with the cut down, right? Still keeping that open. Maybe they swing in, they don't kill the Dredger, and we have a surprise Gix and then a draw off of that too. Ooh, their own cut down. It looks like they are going to be missing their 4th, maybe, again. We'll finally hit this Dread Knight to take less damage, and then they can immediately cast the other side, go down to 17, draw a card, and play Dread Knight next turn. But I don't want to take 3 again. Like, I feel like this whole game I've been way too greedy with the cut down already. Ooh, and they drew into their 4th. Well, they could have already had that too, but... Okay, mana. Speaking of greedy, have I been too greedy with this Poisoner? Maybe. Poisoner would have been picked up by their cut down as well, though. Alright, let's get the Gix down. Now, hopefully it survives. We're starting to fizzle out big time over here. Mana off the top wouldn't be terrible, I suppose. Because we could gain life off the food, drop the Poisoner, and get a little bit of value that way, I suppose. Outside of that, replenishing our hand with this Gix is going to be essential. Okay, they got the blocker with the Dread Knight. But yeah, mana off the top would be pretty good. Aw, go for the throat for the Gix. Crap, guys, crap. That's not good. That's really not good. Okay. The Tenacious Underdog isn't bad. Ooh. Tempted to blitz. Go down to 12, draw off of that. Got a 3 swing there, though. Really depends what we plan on seeing. I guess getting this down. Yeah, the blitz was tempting just to see more off the top. But we can't take that much damage right now, I don't think. This Dread Knight is going to be an absolute menace for the rest of the game. At some point, too, we got to start seeing, like, the other Golgari stuff, man. Like, they probably got their own Sheoldred packed in for sure. Okay, cut down on the Underdog. They still got the 3 going through. At least they didn't exile the Underdog. Okay, Sunslayer. There's the other Golgari goodies, huh? Same concept, man. Mana off the top wouldn't be terrible. It's definitely noteworthy, though, that I did discard 2 pieces of mana this game. Milling a Bitter Triumph. Eee. We do have a fair bit of removal packed in. Another Bitter Triumph. Okay. 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 So when they swing, we go Bitter Triumph. We have nothing to discard to it. Man, the opponent put us in a really bad spot with these. I guess it was 4 pieces of spot removal. I was going to say, it felt like a limited number of them, but no. Really good hits. All right, we're taking a lot of damage next turn. I believe we take out the Sunslayer, though. I don't think it would be great to blitz in the Underdog in hopes of, I don't even know, I guess just drawing more at that point. Swing for 6, we're taking 6 regardless, but we're going to be hitting the Sunslayer before it actually gets through. And the 3. Yeah, so hopefully discarding those that mana over there isn't terrible. And we want to save the food because I want to have a good hit with the Poisoner when it comes time. Unless we need to gain off the food, right? Unless the opponent plays something where we have to gain life. Oh no, another Sunslayer. Okay. All right. So we're losing 1 down to 3. Hopefully we don't mill that land. We really want that land. Oh, Vraska. Okay, maybe the opponent was helping us out. Land off the top. Bitter Triumph. Oh, no. So we'll go ahead and, I guess, like, well, hold on now. Hold on. If we play Poisoner and they don't remove it, we'll have the block into the Dread Knight. That'll gain us 3. So we're actually still in this, guys. We don't get to do the fancy thing, but if they don't remove the Poisoner, we might have a chance. So overall, very, very slow performance from our deck. We fizzled out very fast. However, we are up against like value Golgari, so. Cut down opponent. Do you have 8 cut downs in there? Do you have 8 of those? GG opponent. Hey, that first victory up there in the deck tracker, ignore that. I believe that was a different version of the list. Sometimes I have the deck tracker on when I play my test matches, and sometimes I don't. It really depends on whether or not I decide to change up the list a lot, or if I think that I'm going to change up the list, which I'm not 100% certain what that test game that happened to be a victory even was. But I do believe it was a different version, so ignore it. 100% loss rate so far. We'll see if we can go ahead and pick up some pace here in the second round. Opponent, what you bringing to the table, buddy? Less removal, man. That spot removal really disrupted us a little bit too much. Ooh. I like this hand much better than the last one. We'll keep this. We get to keep Cut Down open with the Gumdrop Poisoner. Really like this card, man. Gumdrop Poisoner. Okay. Yeah, we might still be in that last one if I didn't get rid of so much land out of my hand. If we actually could have hit the 5th, I mean, they still would have had a lot of removal. We still would have been struggling a lot with the Mosswood Dread Knight, too. Alright, let's get that Irencrag down. Early ramp is good to me. Golgari? Oh, no, opponent. Not like this, buddy. Alright. Demolition Field. We have 4 mana. We just get the Poisoner down, let them use their cut down. Tear Asunder is also a thing that plays in Golgari, so our Irencrag could be getting hit anyways. Sure, so we'll use this. We'll keep our Swamp open. We'll get the Poisoner down just for the sake of playing something for the turn. I don't know if that's like the best thing to do. Could also be go for the throat or a lot of different removal. It is going to be their cut down, actually. Well, that's 1 out of 8 cut down out of the opponent's list, as we well know from the last game. So at least that's a cut down that's not hitting our other creatures, right? Oh, Stomper in this one. Golgari ramp could be really scary. Virtue of Persistence. Well, the good news here is we have that Ashiok. The big question is, what do we want to do with that Ashiok? Just start going for the plus? Probably. Get the ball rolling a little sooner. Let's do this. Look at the top 2. We exile 1. Put the other in our hand. Oh, we should probably grab that Sheoldred. So exile 1, we'll exile the Abandoned Mire. That's fine, I guess. We'll grab that Sheoldred. Yeah, because Sheoldred always does the thing. And it does the thing really well. 5th mana from the opponent. Vorinclex. Dude, I'm scared. Do we want to double down on this Virtue? Take out that Vorinclex? Because if they don't have an attack next turn, our Ashiok will be at 7. And we'll have 14 in exile already. Could be pretty sick. I wouldn't mind that. The trample will get through the Sheoldred is the big problem here. But at this point, we'll start with the plus and see what we're exiling. Oh, Fleshgorger. So that'll be another 7. I mean, we want to go for the mill. That's the whole point of the deck. So let's do it. Let's exile Fleshgorger. And we'll play Blast Zone for the turn. That's no worries. Wait, is it worries? 1, 2, 3. Never mind. I'll play the Swamp. All right. Doubling down on the Vorinclex. Let's do this. It's good life gain, too. And then we have 2 open for the food. I guess we could have played the Blast Zone. I guess we would have still had 1 Swamp open for the cut down, too. I guess Blast Zone could have come down, but this is also fine. All right, Ashiok has 21 for the -7 if that's what we want to do, but the opponent's still at 48 cards in the deck. So we're not quite there yet. Stomper can't swing just yet. Should I gain while we can? Probably. That's probably fine. Go up to 27. Yeah, the problem with popping the food now is if we see like another Poisoner or something, but Poisoner wouldn't be able to hit the Stomper anyways. Yeah, we don't have... Oh, Restless Cottage is something to consider to pick up with the Demolition Field, by the way. It's probably going to be plus on the Ashiok again, guys. I wouldn't mind getting the 1/1s too, but I want to keep the Ashiok high enough, and then I just want to keep seeing more value off the top. Or more removal at this point too would be good. Sheoldred's Edict. Oh, no, my Ashiok. How could you, opponent? No. Alright, let's see what we get off the ability here. So exile 1. So I'll keep the Fleshgorger now to actually just play. So we'll exile the Dredger. And we still have another 3 Ashiok in here, so... Alright, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 once we play the Blast Zone, and we'll have 4 Swamp too, so we'll get Blast Zone down. We'll get Sheoldred. And then we'll play Fleshgorger as Prototype. Totally fine. Now we just get some value creatures down. Irencrag, do we wanna power it up? No, probably not. We'll keep it as ramp. Go for the throw on the Sheoldred. Okay. And decline. Fleshgorger. Yeah, so when you power up the Irencrag, it becomes a Hero's Legacy. Equip cost of 3. Equipped creature gets +3/+3. Could be neat. It could be. Like, equip it to a Fleshgorger actually sounds pretty powerful. Yeah, maybe we should have powered it up, honestly. But against Golgari? Okay, they go ahead and play their Virtue of Persistence. We might have to play our Virtue of Persistence. Take that for it gladly. So they're gonna take our Sheoldred. I can almost guarantee that. No, it's not a guarantee. They do have Vorinclex, which would be a pretty good hit. So Virtue have cut down open. I'm not sure what cut down's hitting on the opponent's side. I'll go for the swing because I don't plan on blocking. And maybe we should just play Fleshgorger as a 7/5. They're going to start reanimating every turn, though. I think we're going to have to keep up with that. So we'll play our Virtue of Persistence. Whatever they don't grab, we grab. Yeah, this could be pretty scary. Yeah, unfortunately, after we play the Virtue of Persistence, now the Ashiok only has 16 mana in exile. Or when we see Ashiok number 2. They do go for their Vorinclex, thin out their deck further, more forests hitting their hand. These Golgari builds, man, 2 very different builds, but very cool. They're gonna flip the Vorinclex. Holy cow, I wouldn't have even guessed that they had enough mana, but I guess it is only 8 mana to do that. 2 creatures onto the battlefield. Gruff Triplets and Stomper. Holy cow. That's terrifying, dude. Well, our Virtue is not doing that much, that's for sure. But Sheoldred's still a pretty good grab, I would say. And maybe I am tempted. Put that on the Fleshgorger. They double block with Gruff Triplets. Then the 1 Gruff Triplets gets buffed pretty well. No, I'm going to decline it, unfortunately. Bitter Triumph. What should we do here, guys? Don't want to forget the Blast Zone. They haven't powered up the Cottage yet. Not a lot of really good reasons to use the Demolition Field. We could get Blast Zone up to 2 counters. We'll be able to pop their Stompers. That doesn't seem that great. I have some decent blocks next turn. So if we double down on these Virtues, I think we survive the turn depending on what they have in hand. So if we block a few times... Okay, they take our Poisoner. Yeah, dude. These first 2 lists were terrifying. So Cut Down does hit Poisoner, luckily. Oh, taking a blocker out of the equation right away. Okay. That's pretty brutal stuff, huh? That's all 4 of their Go for the Throats out of the game now. That's a lot of spot removal, man. That Sheoldred's Edict hitting Planeswalkers, that was pretty huge for them, right? Looks like they discarded the first Sheoldred's Edict earlier, too. You're bidding 7 onto 1 Gruff Triplet. Okay. I probably will pick up that Gumdrop Poisoner. So the plan here is, of course, to block the 3/3 Gruff Triplets that's not a token. So I think they're probably going to figure that out and not swing with it. With the Sheoldred gone, we just simply don't have good blocks now, but I believe we still survive the turn because we'll go up to 27. Ooh, that's 13. Right, so we should block here for sure. Then we're taking 21. I wonder what their plan is. And then while we have the mana open, we should use this Cut Down. But we'll wait to see if they end up playing anything else. Oh, I guess these do have Trample. And they didn't even power up the Restless Cottage for the swing, too. Graveyard Trespasser. Oh no, they're going to take the Gruff Triplets out of the equation for the reanimation next turn. Oh no, they take the Fleshgorger. They're more scared of the lifelink than the multiple blockers. Well, that does make sense, huh? That does make sense. The opponent's list is pretty cool, man. Just packed full of just power in general. Now, while I have the mana, we'll do this because I am almost certain that we are about to lose. But a couple reanimation could do the thing, so we're probably going to take the Gruff Triplets. And then we'll take the Sheoldred, I would imagine. Yes, Sheoldred. And we do not want to power up the Irencrag. Yes, we decline this. Pretty cool, man. The Battle of Virtues, huh? I'm back up to 7. The Staff of Completion is interesting, but not the play for the turn. We go full power Fleshgorger. We'll only have 1 mana available, so we won't have the Bitter Triumph. 1, 2, 3. Yep, 6. The Blast Zone to 3 would actually be really good, but we won't be able to pop it on the same turn that we put the counters on it. With the Proliferate, we could get there, I guess, eventually. We're not going to be able to pay much life until the Ashiok's on the board, though. So the best case scenario here is probably... My apologies, opponent. I am thinking, buddy. Best case scenario here, with all that trample going through, I guess that's that. I think that's just game. So we'll just go for Prototype Fleshgorger, keep the Bitter Triumph open, discard the completion. I think that the opponent wins on a full swing. And based on how much spot removal's in the list too, they've only seen 1 of their Terra Sunders. to go ahead and grab the Poisoner that I popped with the cut down last turn, but it can't swing, so. Sheoldred takes them down to 16. Grand Evolution. Grand Evolution, I'm not paying any attention to you at all, buddy. What's that? What's that last ability? Creatures you control gain for 1 mana. This creature fights target creature you don't control. Oh, buddy, we are like super dead then. But we still have the Bitter Triumph open, so we'll definitely just play this out completely. They can also power up the Restless Cottage. Wow, that is just so much value. I'm genuinely impressed. Really neat Golgari ramping with the the gruff triplets and everything too. Yeah. Coolest opponent. We're 30 minutes in. I hope to get like 2 more games in to try to actually do a little bit more than what we're doing right now. Like overall, this is still very much a mono black mid-range list, so it should definitely be able to do the thing. They go for the full swing without activating the Grand Evolution ability. They exile our Ashiok, and we will start with all that trampling. I suppose the Bitter Triumph hitting. I guess it doesn't really matter, right? We'll discard a card. We'll hit the 13/13 gruff triplet, and all that just gets stacked onto the last gruff triplets here. So that is a 19/19 trampling creature. I'll activate Blast Zone just for fun. X is 1. We'll block the 19/19 gruff triplets with the Sheoldred. We're at 7. So I'm still going to like do my dandiest to survive here. We will block you, go up to 10, right? And if we take 8 there, so I suppose we go like this to take 6 less, and then like that. No. It would be like this. I don't know. What's the most optimized block? I don't want to take too long to think about it because I'm pretty sure we die no matter what the block is. So that's -4, -1. Wow. We almost survived. Wait a minute. Maybe I should have taken the time for the full block, but either way, I'm like close to 100% certain that even if we survived an extra round, we would have died anyways. What's interesting there is them getting their virtue down first was really essential, and at that point, it didn't even matter that I played 2 virtues. Okay. Double Golgari lists, but I can't complain too much. They were very different versions of Golgari. All right, opponent, bring anything to the table except for Golgari, all right? I'm down for anything. You got a mirror match for me? That'd be great. Close to mirror match? Oh, wait a minute. Ashiok card sleeves. You never know, huh? Opponent goes first. I think this hand is totally fine with these virtues. The Fiend's Tower. Ashiok in hand. Good draw. Come on, guys. We got to get there. We got to do the thing. Oh. Thalia, huh? Better activate that now. Thalia gets around the virtues for the turn. Get the Blast Zone down. Is it going to be a turn 3 virtue just to get rid of this Thalia? Probably. Fleshgorger blocks really well, but not if they drop like a Brutal Cathar or something. And then how greedy do I get with this food token? Not greedy is the answer. We're just going to gain the 3 back right now while we have the 2 open. Oh, Treasure Dredger. Oh. Op the Thalia. Go up to 22. Probably take a big hit from Adeline. Thalia number 2 could come down. Fleshgorger. Blocks well enough. If it gets removed, That'd be much more devastating than them just playing the second Thalia, right? Maybe not. Maybe not, because it might not be removal. It usually is removal. It usually is. But they'll be taxing themselves. All right, let's do it. Let's get the Fleshgorger down. Sometimes you gotta risk it for the best plays possible. Swing with the Adeline. So if we block the 1/1, there's a chance of an Elspeth Smite. Ooh, okay. Full swing, full swing. Either way, they could still remove it. We gotta attempt the block. If we block the Thalia... Really tough decisions, guys. Really, really tough because any... Oh, we got the block. We got the block, guys. That was huge for us. Wow, it passes right back, too. That was huge stuff, man. Okay, we do got 25 mana in here. We should be able to find that fourth easy peasy. Virtue's not hitting the Adeline. Bitter Triumph will hit the Adeline when it comes time. It could still be an Elspeth Smite if I swing with this Fleshgorger, but we gotta try it, dude. Go back up to 20, drop the Poisoner, take out a 1/1, and be happy about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Menace gets through pretty well. Gumdrop Poisoner. Wait a minute. Fleshgorger number 2. No removal for the first Fleshgorger might just mean we double down. Maybe get that swing on Fleshgorger next turn, gain 6, and then drop Poisoner to hit the Adeline. They filter out the Rafine's Tower. That could be huge for us, man. Fleshgorger might really show off its power here. Opponent does have 5 mana open, though. That's it back. There's our 4th. Alright, anyone's game for sure. I'm feeling pretty good, though. Having these Fleshgorgers alive really, honestly, just having them on the board, I really needed that after those 2 Golgari games, man. That was so much spot removal. So, we swing with both. Wandering Emperor could come down. My hope, of course, is to gain 6. They go for a double block. With the Adeline here, I plan on dropping the Poisoner to take care of the Adeline anyways. Oh, Plaza of Heroes. Plaza could save the Adeline. Well, we'll take care of the human while we can then. And if they spend their turn using the Plaza... Man. If they spend their turn using the Plaza, I guess it's not too bad, because we get another lifelink card on the board. But we could also go Virtue, but then that fizzles out. Bitter Triumph on the stack of the Plaza. It still fizzles out. Okay, I'm gonna stay on task here. I was surprised by... Oh, Urtai. They don't need the Plaza if they have a counter spell. Oh, I wasn't prepared for that. Well, I'm down to draw the Swamp, though. Maybe this Ashiok can make an appearance. They go for that full swing. We got a lot of life gain, luckily, so we're just going down to 17. 5th mana comes down. Another Gumdrop Poisoner isn't bad. Man, we have options for days right now. I think it starts with that Fleshgorger swing again. Is it finally going to be something? They do find a Fading Hope, but they don't want the life gain to go through. I see. So they take the 3, we just don't gain the 3 life. But at that point, we can attempt Virtue. And then Gumdrop Poisoner. That Plaza is still open. So we don't want the Virtue to fizzle, so we're going to hit a 1/1. for -3/-3. Because Plaza can't target their 1/1s. And then Gumdrop Poisoner. Oh! They are doing everything in their power to fizzle out our life gain, guys. They get a scry here, too. I actually like that play, opponent. That's funny. At that point, I guess I'll play the Fleshgorger again. We'll keep the Gumdrop Poisoner back because I do think that that's going to be a really good piece of removal when it comes time. The end! Wow! That's terrifying for us. But you know what that does? The -7 on the Ashiok just got a huge buff, huh? All of the Fleshgorgers in exile. Wait a minute. They didn't exile the one in my grave, unfortunately. Well, that makes me a little sad. Okay, so we still have Virtue Play. We're struggling with that Adeline, huh? That's okay. That's totally fine. Virtue gain 2. Up to 10. Gumdrop Poisoner. Create a food. We'll gain more next time. And then Gumdrop Poisoner to take out a 1/1. That weakens the Adeline pretty well. That's okay. Was that the best line of play? I don't know. Rafine. Denick, bro. That's a great way to restock the board here. Scary business, man. The opponent's really bringing the heat today. We will gladly trade into that 3/3. Wait a minute, will we? Just take 8, gain 3, take out this human. Or take 6, take out this human. I'll keep the chump blocker around for next turn. The chump blocker being the Poisoner. Denick's a problem. Everything's a problem here. And I'm just going to go for that risky play again, right? Go back up to 5. We gained a ton of life this game. Okay. Rafine has a good chance of just winning next turn, right? Well, not a good chance. They might hit a lot of land off of the Connive. Blast Zone is... Like, Blast Zone, we've had some options with Blast Zone. Like, getting Blast Zone to 3 could have been good this game as well. You know? We'll have the 2 open. Let's get that Ashiok down. We do have the pay 3, which will be 3 off the top instead of the 3 from our life, now that Ashiok's on the board. I think what we're going to end up doing... We're going to need more chump blockers on the ground, right? We're going to go -2 on the Ashiok, unfortunately. Leave no mind unspoiled. And I think I want to do this while they're tapped out, guys, because, like, they could drop another Urtai on their turn. Well, also Plaza of Heroes. Oh, the ward cost on the Rafine's pretty brutal, but we finally get to take care of that Adeline. So we want to pay the 3, take care of the Adeline on the ground. That's been so much value for them this whole game. We do have the swing, but I think we're just going to need to keep it as a blocker to trade in here. Hopefully they don't find removal for it. Either way, they could just block with the Rafine and not lose anything, so... Sheoldred comes down. Oh my. They go for the buff on the Rafine, try to get as much in the air as possible. So what I'm thinking... We trade into the Denick, we double block the 3/3, we only lose 1 of these. Oh, they're gaining a bunch of life there, of course. Trade into Denick, double block the 3/3. Is that okay? I mean, that's our... Yeah, that's our only option. Well, no, we are gaining 3. No, this is fine, this is fine. I think I've been overthinking a lot of these games, but maybe not too. I mean, these have been really tough ones. We're going to be taking 2 from the Sheoldred. Yep. Oh, land. Okay. Well, they got the win in the air, so we gotta just go for the plus on the Ashiok. Another Ashiok. Interesting. It's too bad we weren't able to get that -7 because, yeah, look at all the cards, all the mana value we have in exile. 34 mana value. So we exile one of them, which will be the swamp, because it's much better just to put that Ashiok in hand. We'll play the swamp. It's too bad we didn't get to see the Treasure Dredger do a little bit more, too. It's a fun name to say. We still have a chance of seeing spot removal for Rafine, but I think the ward... is going to protect them enough here. 1, 2, 3. Well, still have 3 open. Alright, let's do this. Then we select the one where that's brand new to keep. And we go plus because we have to hit that Rafine no matter what here. Bitter Triumph. Holy cow, guys. So exile one of them. We exile Sheoldred. Bitter Triumph. And before they have Plaza open, we go Bitter Triumph. Pay 3. Use Rafine. We don't have 3 to pay, so we have to discard. Oh no. Yeah, since we're at 2, then auto pay the ward. At least we're alive though, but not really. Because they unfortunately just pass it back and Sheoldred ends it since we're at 2. Aw, man. Oh, and they have the swing with the Restless Fortress as well. That's right, that's right. GG opponents. Holy cow. Really tough uphill battles. I still believe in the list, though. So, overtime? 46 minutes in. Oh my goodness. All right, a little bit overtime. Let's do it. It'll just mean that the final thoughts and the discussion at the end will have to be cut a little short, but that's fine. That's fine. We gotta get this deck to do the thing, man. So remember, it is 3 losses in a row. Completely ignore that first victory. I know it was a test game. I don't remember the test game, but I do know that it was a little bit of a different version of this list too. Maybe I shouldn't have changed the list at all, huh? No, at that point, I don't know. In the final thoughts, we might talk more about what we should change with the list. You know what I'm kind of feeling right now? I'm kind of feeling like 26 mana would have been pretty good. See if this Treasure Dredger can do a thing. I'm going to keep this. We're going to give it a shot. Gumdrop Poisoner. Kind of the MVP today. It's been pretty good. I like it. Now the big thing is actually getting that victory, ending on a high note. And hopefully on the mill too. Alright. Treasure Dredger. It's really, really difficult to get to that -7. I thought we were going to get it in that one game, but then that Sheoldred's Edict came down and broke my heart, you know? Looks like Dredger might have a target on its back. Deep Cavern Bat, they hit the Virtue. That is definitely the target. March of the Wretched Sorrow. Okay. Well, player 3rd for sure. A little bit of ramp with the Dredger. Over the swing. Or we could swing play Gumdrop Poisoner. I think we'll keep the March of the Wretched Sorrow open. And go for the Treasure on the Dredger. And I'll do all of that on the opponent's turn. How do we feel about that? Just in case we want to do something with the March of the Wretched Sorrow. So if we get the ramp with the Dredger and find mana off the top, we'll have a turn 4 Ashiok again, which would be the 2nd time today. That's pretty good, actually. Okay, we'll let the 1 go. The more Esper should be terrifying to us. Passing it back. Get that treasure. We could gain off the food, but I'm actually going to save it. This is one of those matches where I think saving it's just going to be a little bit better. Okay. So, same thing with the Dredger. There's no guarantee that we see a our 4th mana off the top when it comes time. So we'll keep March for 1 and maybe actually use it this time. And then just go for the Dredger again. A little bit awkward. We also have another Gumdrop Poisoner adventure side to maybe get another food. Very mastermind. Okay. At this point, we should be scared. Fairy Mastermind and Deep Cavern Bat, I guess it's... I mean, it could just be like Esper Tempo or something. Maybe. This March is going to have a better target, isn't it? X is 1. They have 4 mana open. It's going to have a better target, I just know it. We're going to take the 3. We're going to take the 3 and ramp with the Dredger again. It's actually a pretty neat card. Had we seen the mana on time, then this would have been pretty cool. Or a pretty cool lineup. It could still be a really cool lineup. Okay. There's the swamp. It's a turn late, but I don't mind seeing it still. Now the question is, Ashiok going to actually hit this table? Probably not. With 4 mana open, it could be like a Wandering Emperor, which is equally as scary as a counterspell. All right, we give it a shot. Let's do it. Did I swing first? Maybe we can, maybe if we swing, we can get them to tap for a Wandering Emperor. They do not. They take the 2 gladly. Back down to 19. It is going to be a No More Lies. Oh no, guys. So is the other Ashiok going to hit is the question. The scary business there, of course, is Deep Cavern Bat let them peer into our hands, so they were just waiting for us to get enough mana for the Ashiok anyways. So even if we saw the mana last turn, it was going to be the No More Lies over the Mastermind at that point. Going to be another Mastermind, too. Oh, buddy. Okay, okay. Looking for 5. Down to 9. Are they going to keep the 4 open? Okay. At this point... Okay, okay. At this point, we got to clean up some of this board. We go like X is 1 on the March. We'll have 3 mana open to play around a No More Lies. We shouldn't attempt the Ashiok again. I feel like this was probably the better play last turn anyways, and we do it on our turn because Virtue is sorcery speed. So if it lands and they don't counter it, okay, now we'll attempt the Virtue and maybe get a counterspell out of their hand while gaining some life here too. Oh, also, since we swung in to try to play... Oh, they're going for the draw, huh? Okay, okay. That makes sense. Because then they draw 2 off the double Mastermind. So they drew 3 for 4. We're back up to 12. I suppose we go for the swing on the Dredger. Anyways, we probably should have swung with the Dredger beforehand, the same way we did last turn to try to bait out a Wandering Emperor. But I don't know if getting a Wandering Emperor out of their hand would have been good there anyways. Deep Cavern Bat. They might want to hit the Ashiok here. They do hit the Ashiok. Ooh, Dennick. Now they only have 1 mana open. We could have a pretty good line of play. I do think we want to see more mana. So if we gain life off the food, drop Gumdrop Poisoner, hit the Deep Cavern Bat, that just doesn't seem bad to me because we go back up to 13. And then we don't have a successful swing this turn anyways. But we are going to need to see some more swamps off the top. Oh, do we hit the Dennick instead? They just bring back the Dennick in the air, though. Probably not then. I'll hit the Deep Cavern Bat. I'll stay on task because I want the Ashiok to do the thing this game. We pass it on back. So we saw 2 different variations of Golgari, then 2 different variations on Esper. That's scary stuff, man. So they have 6 mana open. I'll just take the 4. Because there's a small chance where Gumdrop Poisoner survives, gets a swing, then the other Poisoner comes down to clean up the Dennick anyways. Only in that scenario, we have more creatures. Whereas if we traded, they could have paid the 4. The 4 in hand. Gix is pretty good, but it's not land. That's tough, man. So if we play Gix, I can only imagine that's a counterspell. And swing for 5, gain 3 back up to 12. Hopefully. Maybe we could draw the land. Maybe. Alright, Gix was a pretty good draw. I'm going to try it. I don't think it lands, but if it does land, then that is really good for us. Oh, it's on the table. What point do we want to anticipate that Wandering Emperor, right? We just swing right into it, I would say. I'm on the edge of my seat right now. Wandering Emperor. And they still have 2 mana open.
I've learned much.
Oh, man. Gumdrop Poisoner is out of here. The 2 is hopefully getting through because I need a draw. And then we are in desperate need of seeing that swamp so we can have that Bitter Triumph available. Oh, and then they get the draw off the Mastermind. Dude, Mastermind's such a good card. Bitter Triumph available. We could try to take out the Wandering Emperor. They still have 2 mana open. Maybe we just play the Tenacious Underdog to try to set up a little bit more. Because a counter on the Underdog is unlikely. But we're at 8. It's a tough decision, man. It's a tough decision. I wanted to keep the Bitter Triumph open. But seeing what we're up against, go for the throw on the Gix. Oh boy. We're going to have to block that Dennick on the ground. Then they get it into the air. But at least we'll be able to remove it then. Swinging into... that's right, that's right. The +1 counter with the first strike. Dude, we're in danger, huh? Let's just take this 5, and I'm pretty sure the opponent's going to get this one as well. Brutal, brutal day of games. I wonder where we would have had a better advantage, right? Maybe if we saw some, like, aggro. Aggro's really good, though. Don't get me wrong. It's in a great spot right now. Boros and Mono Red, right? But maybe we would have had a better chance. Not really sure. Our life gain has been terrific, but these other mid-range decks, they really, like, just establish a setup that is a little bit too powerful for us to deal with. It did take us a while to actually start getting the mana rolling here, too, so... The ramp on the Treasure Dredger did the thing this turn, or this game, though. That's good, at least. I want a full swing at the Wandering Emperor and see what happens. Keeping blockers back is just silly at this point, because if we do that, they could just, oh, they're going to power up their Restless Anchorage. They know we have the Bitter Triumph available. I suppose that's probably it, though, anyways, right? We'll take out the Restless Anchorage while we can. Discard the Fleshgorger that they know about. And then we'll still have the other Fleshgorger to come down here. So now they let the Deep Cavern Bat survive, because the block doesn't save the Emperor anyways. And then we play the Fleshgorger, which still blocks well enough on the ground if it survives. Another line of play there. Now remember, they had a lot of mana open. Could have been just gain life on the food. Good game, opponent. And then drop Poisoner to try to remove maybe the Mastermind or something. Oh, they had 3 in the air anyways. Huh. I don't know why I overlooked that. I was like, yeah, Fleshgorger still blocks that Dennick nicely. No, second Restless Anchorage too. Woo, buddy. It's not even a 20% win rate. For this version of the list, at the very least, it is a 100% loss rate. 4 losses in a row, guys. That means something for sure. Let's go ahead go over the deck list again. You gotta laugh sometimes, man. The opponents really brought it to the table. That was something else, man. And it kind of felt like they had what they needed exactly when they needed it. We could call that luck, but I don't know about that, man. We got to put this one on the do not craft list for sure. The overall discard suggestion was try to put a deck list together where Ashiok could actually pull off the -7. I got to be real with you guys. I thought I landed on something here. Against those deck lists at the very least, it very much was not going to be able to do that -7. There's that one game where I almost thought we were going to get that -7. We got Ashiok to what? We got it to 8, but then the Sheoldred's Edict came down, and before getting it to 8, if we would have just went -7, we actually didn't have the mill on it anyways. That's very, very difficult to actually pull that off. Outside of that, Ashiok still feels like a relatively decent Planeswalker to get down on turn 5, even if you're not going for that -7. But yeah, very expensive list too, like 120%. Put it on the do not craft list. There are so many mythics in here. Virtue of Persistence, Fleshgorger, Sheoldred, Ashiok, Vraska, Staff of Completion. All of those are mythic, and that's not to mention the rares here, right? Gumdrop Poisoner is a rare, Tenacious Underdog. Irencrag is a rare, March of the Wretched Star is a rare, Pitiless Carnage. We didn't get to see today. That could have been interesting in some of those. This is also a rare. Gix is a rare. Of course, Abandoned Mire is a rare too. Just a very expensive list that just isn't going to do the thing. Should I say more testing required? Maybe. Yeah, like I would love just to do another set of 4 games. Maybe we'll just return to Ashiok. Guys, let me know, what should I add to the list? What should I take out of the list? Should I add another color to try to get this Ashiok to work with its -7? What could we do to make this -7 actually get the mill through and actually have some survival here too? You're looking at the list like this, and it actually has just a beautiful curve of what you would consider like just solid ways to survive. But against those decks, man, whoo, buddy, tough business. Hopefully I played it out well enough too. A lot of the lines were, I don't want to call them confusing. They were quite difficult for me to actually process sometimes. So something to consider. I'm personally not going to change this, but this is definitely something to consider. Dropping like a Staff of Completion down to 1 and going up that 26th mana could be fine. Maybe I should have used this Blast Zone more today, but it was really hard to decide when to keep mana open or something like this, but when to just play cards. Gumdrop Poisoner is like a huge value card, man. Like, keep an eye out on this card, just in general. Like, we gotta visit Orzhov Lifegain at some point. In Orzhov Lifegain, you have like a bunch of 2 mana cards that's gaining your life, or like 2 mana lifelink cards or something. I feel like Poisoner is going to be disgusting in something like that. Other than that, it actually wasn't too bad to get to the point where you are gaining life to actually activate that Poisoner ability when you are playing it. All of that requires a lot of mana though. Oh, instead of dropping down to 1 Staff of Completion, you could probably drop the Irencrag for the 26th mana. But if you end up flooding out with this deck list a lot, then 25, I mean, you're looking at the curve like this. Well, first of all, you got to ignore this, the average of 3.9. That is not the actual average, because we're looking at the adventure side on the Virtue and the prototype side on the Fleshgorger. So it's actually much cheaper than the 3.9. I don't know what it actually lands on, but it is cheaper. Just why the 25 at first, I thought it would make sense. I feel like you still, for your choice of spot removal, I feel like you still want Bitter Triumph because you want to be able to pay the 3 while the Ashiok's on the board. Like, that's going to be very important. Very key to actually getting that Ashiok to work, because a lot of the other stuff that you're paying for, we really struggled to see anyways. We kind of saw like 2 different sides of the build once we actually got Ashiok onto the board. We definitely needed to see more of our cards that paid life. All the more reason to not drop down to 1 Staff of Completion. Either way, when you're looking at mono black mid-range like this, you're looking at it as a combo deck, and I guess that's a good example as to why we were kind of getting run over, right? We just weren't successful at setting up the combo. Okay, guys. Hey, enough rambling. If you made it this far into the video, For real, y'all are champions. Definitely check out that description where we got that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. Main reason to check out that Patreon, of course, is to get those patron suggestions. Okay, guys, hey, I will see you in the next video.